Shout out to Sherry's Berries for sponsoring this update. Gotta love one with a sweet tooth. Satisfy it with the gift of Sherry's Berries. Get a dozen berries dipped in white milk and dark chocolatey goodness starting at $19.99 plus shipping. To make an order and ditch the gift shopping stress, just visit berries.com, click the microphone in the top right corner, and enter the no to find our deal. Welcome to the No, I'm Ashley. It's hump day and we have a lot of news, so let's get humping. Some of the early numbers are in for last week's Game Awards, and it looks like this was a record year for the show. Another record year for the show, I guess. According to the organizers, 11.5 million people tuned in to check out the ceremony this year, which is way up from 2016's event. That show brought in just 3.8 million, which in comparison makes this a 202% jump, and even 3.8 million was a lot. As for some other stats released about the awards, it seems more than 70% of the viewers on Twitch interacted by voting, and stream viewers clocked in around 70 minutes of watch time each. Great job getting watched by lots of people this year, Game Awards. I can't wait for the trailers and the announcements and the Kojima love triangles and all the memes that are going to be waiting for us next year. The hits just keep on coming for EA over Battlefront 2. After reports last week that the game may be slumping early on, analysts are now starting to lower both their projections of EA's yearly profits and Battlefront 2's long-term sales. Which makes sense, those things kind of go hand in hand. Justin Post, an analyst at investment firm Merrill Lynch, wrote in a note to clients this week that Battlefront 2 will be about 2.5 million units lower than the 14 million they first projected, which is actually still a lot of units they're projecting, but it's also a pretty significant decrease. That will have a ripple effect to the company's earnings per share estimate as well, which basically means, hey, it's not going to make you as much money to invest in EA stocks. To be fair, it looks like you'll still make money if you bet on EA overall, because despite Battlefront 2's dip, they are still having a very solid year financially, because EA, they're huge and they put out huge games. They also expect them to rise again once the microtransactions come back. So, good news for, financial analysts, bad news for gamers. Yeah. Bad news again for JRPG fans, because it looks like Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom's rumored delay is real. Unfortunately, the game has been delayed a second time. This time, the game moves from January 19th to March 23rd. Bandai Namco announced the delay this week following some recent rumors that the delay was going to happen. Those actually started last month after a few retailers started sending out notices to pre-ordering customers. Level 5 President Akihiro Hino said, "With innovation and new ideas comes the need to ensure everything works together in a fun and cohesive way. This means we'll need a bit more time to make sure the entire Ni no Kuni 2 experience meets our highest quality standards." Someday we're gonna play Ni no Kuni 2. Someday. I loved the first one. It was great. It was charming. It was beautiful. I just want more in March, apparently. Everybody's been talking about games as a service lately, with lots of publishers moving in that direction to make their biggest AAA titles. While Square Enix has been one of the bigger cheerleaders of that model, it sounds like they're not going to be taking it in the direction some feared by adding microtransactions to single player. CEO Yosuke Matsuda said in a recent interview with MCV, "The way that console games are made, the volume of content, and how much effort goes into them, there's something in that which doesn't fit in the mind with microtransactions." According to Matsuda, the way they're thinking about it is more along the lines of continually updating each new game with more single-player DLC, similar to what they've done with Final Fantasy 15, where it's bits of new content, new bits of story, crazy new events, all that kind of stuff, as opposed to microtransactions and buying your way through an endgame. So, no loot boxes in Final Fantasy 7 Remake then, and no endless grinding for that gold chocobo. No, that'll be a thing, you just can't buy your way past it. Alright, could Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 be on the horizon for gamers in the near future? Well, as improbably as it sounds, that is what some analysts are predicting out there, and as such, they're expecting Activision's stocks to improve in the next year. An analyst from Goldman Sachs wrote this week that the firm is raising our 2019 and 2020 estimates on account of a robust multi-year pipeline of games, Diablo, Overwatch 2, and a Blizzard mobile title, which we don't think street estimates are fully taking into account. The analyst said they believe that Diablo 4 will launch to the tune of 15 million units in 2019, and Overwatch 2 will debut to 20 million units in 2020. While the Diablo 4 prediction, I guess, isn't too out there. I would certainly like it. The idea that we'll get a sequel to Overwatch so soon, I mean, Blizzard generally takes a very long while between sequels, a little bit more far-fetched. Either way, pass me some of what this guy's on, because it sounds good. The Overwatch Winter Event celebration, the kind of reason that there isn't really a need for an Overwatch 2 in the immediate future, has officially begun, and Blizzard's dropping all sorts of holiday goodies on players. We'll get some seasonal themed items, of course, as well as 2 winter brawls, including the new Yeti Hunter, which is a 6-player brawl that pits 5 Meis against a Yeti player who has Winston's abilities. The Yeti is trying to gather enough meat to unlock a powerful rage ability while the Meis try to stop him. Sounds fun! And we also get the return of Mei's Snowball Offensive. As for the new seasonal items, Blizzard says you can unlock over 50 of them, including legendary skins like Snow Owl Anna, Rhyme Sombra, Beach Rat Junkrat, and Ice Fisherman Roadhog, as well as winter gear from last year at reduced costs. And that event is running now. It will go through January 1st. Are there some items from the upcoming Red Dead Redemption 2 in the expansion for GTA Online? Sounds maybe weird, but that's kind of what it looks like. According to data miners who say they found a Red Dead Redemption 2 treasure hunt in the files for the GTA expansion called the Doomsday Heist, which releases today. According to a series of tweets from Red Dead Network, that treasure hunt apparently includes a special gold revolver that will unlock in both games. According to the description, if you unlock it in GTA, you'll then get an alternative version of the same gun in Red Dead Redemption 2. The description says, because sometimes revenge is a dish best served 6 times in quick succession right between the eyes. Sign up to the Rockstar Games Social Club to get access to the Double Action Revolver Headshot Challenge. Beating this challenge will unlock an exclusive variation of the weapon in Red Dead Redemption 2. So, yeah, interesting bit of cross-promotion there, and if you are wondering, Red Dead Redemption 2 releases in the spring. Wasn't there a funny thing where you could make John Marston your ancestor anyway, so it all kind of feeds back into it. Nintendo wants to make more games for mobile. That is. According to the Wall Street Journal, the company is looking to expand partnerships with developers to make more smartphone games after its first batch of mobile titles kind of fell behind schedule. The company already has a 10% stake in the mobile game maker DNA, and they originally said they'd have 5 smartphone games released by March 2017, but if you're counting, they've only put out 4, the latest of which was Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, and that came out last month. Apparently, now Nintendo wants to partner with more developers to increase the pace of new games. In the past, of course, Nintendo was famously reluctant to make mobile games, but apparently now executives see them as a way to introduce casuals to their games and their franchises, and then hopefully get them to buy a Switch and the full game that comes on that. One of the companies that Nintendo has talked to is Gung Ho Online Entertainment, the Japanese developer who made the hit Puzzle and Dragons smartphone game. Ghost Recon Wildlands is getting a celebrity cameo, very exciting stuff, and it's the Predator. Yeah, that's what people are saying after Ubisoft released a teaser for an upcoming special event called The Hunt, in which, I guess the Predator would make sense. The trailer shows a bunch of military dudes in the jungle and they're freaked out and shooting their guns because something is hunting them. Then we get a bunch of clues as to who's doing the hunting, like flayed corpses and some very suspicious predator sounding noises. And then there's a release date spelled out in a font from the original 1987 movie. You might remember that a new film based on the iconic monster, simply called The Predator, is coming to theaters next year. As for the event, it releases December 14th, so tomorrow. We've got yet another game that's being ported to the Switch to tell you about. Yes, just another in what is becoming a very long line, which is a great thing for Switch owners. The post-apocalyptic RPG Wasteland 2 Director's Cut. Brian Fargo, the CEO of Studio In Exile Entertainment, tweeted a screenshot of the game running on the Switch last night saying, "How about a little tease?" He later confirmed in a tweet that, yes, the port really is happening, and said, "I have to give props to Nintendo owners for your love of the machine. My Wasteland Switch screenshot had the quickest traction of most anything I've ever tweeted." The original game, which features tactical turn-based combat, was released in 2014 for PC, and the Director's Cut came out a year later. It was pretty well received. It's currently got an 81 on Metacritic, it won Game of the Year in 2014 from PC World, and if Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle showed us anything, it's that turn-based battles can work very, very well on the Switch. So this is great news. No word on a Switch release date yet, but we'll keep you posted. Word around the industry trades is that Woody Harrelson is very close to signing on to Tom Hardy's Venom movie, which is crazy. No details on which character Harrelson will be playing, but the actor has worked with director Ruben Fleischer before, appearing as the Twinkie-obsessed smartass Tallahassee in Zombieland. Fleischer said that his R-rated standalone Venom film will pull from both the Lethal Protector and Planet of the Symbiotes comic runs, which puts the popular Spider-Man villain firmly in an anti-hero position as he hunts down and destroys his murderous offspring. Harrelson's character is described as a henchman type in Variety, but you don't cast someone like Woody Harrelson unless you really give him something fun to do. He'd actually be a very inspired choice to play Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage. Could see him being set up for the big bad guy in the sequel. Or he's just popping up in his buddy's movie. It's totally possible. Either way, it sounds like he's very close to joining an already impressive cast, which includes Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, Michelle Williams, Jenny Slate, and Riz Ahmed. Now, so far, Netflix hasn't made a Marvel show it didn't like. Even Iron Fist, which is the worst received critically of their different Marvel series, it did a lot of views. It was like one of the highest viewed series that they put out when it launched, that is. I'd love to see what the drop-off was like. But their Punisher series just came out last month, and the streaming giant has already made a second season official, announcing the green light via Twitter. Their take on The Punisher was widely praised by critics and fans alike for embracing the inherent violence of the character. Frank Castle is he's supposed to be very brutal with a personal code of conduct he sticks to, and this series was the first time he was let loose at this level, much to the delight of adult comic book readers who were getting a little bit tired of every comic getting the same PG-13 treatment, as long as they're not Deadpool, I guess. Netflix hasn't set a date for Frank Castle to return, but he's coming. And he was great. If you caught him in Daredevil, he was fantastic in that. Leads on to the Punisher series. Great. Loving it. Can't wait for season 2. Can a computer write a decent Harry Potter book? Well, the answer is actually surprisingly maybe yes. Why should we write books anymore? Let the robots do it. A robotics company called Botnik Studios trained an algorithmic tool on all 7 Harry Potter books, and the program then created a 3-page chapter that's called, and this is amazing, Harry Potter and the Portrait of What Looked Like a Large Pile of Ash. And what came out? Actually, it wasn't half bad. Well, I mean, for a robot. The Verge described it as a tale with a plot that feels soulless and meandering, but like any good fan fiction, still holds a faint imprint of Rowling's usual lilting, whimsical charm. There are amazing sentences like, Harry tore his eyes from his head and threw them into the forest. Voldemort raised his eyebrows at Harry, who could not see anything at the moment. So, yeah, apparently robots, they write fan fiction now. It's another job they're taking from us, but if they keep writing like this, I might allow it. Just wait till they start to get real dirty, because that's what fanfiction is ultimately all about, right? All paths of fanfiction lead to dirty. All right, that's the news we have for this roundup. Oh my gosh, that was so much news. Let us know what you think of all these stories in the comments down below. To make sure you get news from every corner of the internet every weekday, like this video. If you're new around here, subscribe to the Now. Thanks to Shari's Berries for sponsoring this update. Look, if you've ever panicked over last-minute holiday gift shopping, you know it can be real stressful. Don't do that this year. Make it easy on yourself. Give the gift of dipped strawberries. It'll satisfy any sweet tooth. Shari's Berries offers a dozen berries dipped in white milk and dark chocolatey goodness, starting at just $19.99 plus shipping and handling, and you can set the delivery date when you order. Or if you want to make sure there are a few spares so you can snag one too, you can double the berries for an additional $10 and they'll throw in a keepsake dessert platter. Plus, they've got other holiday treats too, like snowman brownie pops, cheesecake Christmas trees, artisanal chocolate truffles, all of which sound absolutely delightful. To get a dozen dipped berries for $19.99 plus shipping, just visit berries.com, click the microphone in the top right corner and enter code THEKNOW in the search bar there. That'll bring up the deal and you'll have your shopping all sorted out stress-free.